Troopers threatened Democratic lawmakers with arrest at the Capitol today. It came during a protest that erupted over Republican bills to change how Georgia's elections are run. Democrats call it blatant voter suppression. 11 Alive's Doug Richards was there when it all happened.
It's been clear for weeks that Republican election bills are the most emotional component of this year's legislative session.
Day after day, we see more voting bills coming up and spitting on our ancestors.
And that came into full focus at around midday. Two Georgia lawmakers joined a small but loud demonstration in the Capitol Rotunda protesting against GOP election bills. When they moved to an area of the Capitol with more visibility, they drew the attention of state troopers.
Stop voter suppression!
When one of the troopers pulled out a bullhorn,
"You are in violation of 1611."
Democratic State Representative Park Cannon moved her head in front of it.
Go. Don't touch me.
That's when another trooper grabbed Cannon's left elbow, drawing an emotional rebuke from Cannon.
Disperse immediately or you will be arrested.
The state troopers quickly backed away, but Cannon wasn't finished. She led her fellow Democrats to a sit-in on the staircase that lasted for more than an hour.
Since 2018, we have seen an increase in violence against so many communities, and unfortunately that is true in the state capitol. Black women deserve to be protected, and we shall not be moved.
But then the Capitol emptied and they moved. The anger, however, will linger into next week when the Republican-led House takes a vote on the Republican election bill.